Welcome to Pure Porn Propaganda. I'm Wisecraft, and today I'm with Anon 2150. So what's up, Anon? How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good myself. And today is a very exciting day because we get to talk about Gematria.
Yeah, we're working on Gematria stuff. Couldn't get that guest that I wanted to get, but maybe he'll come on next time. We might extend this to next Thursday for
maybe
part 3.
Do a series on it or something.
Yeah. So go ahead and talk about what you were talking about offline before we start, because that was really interesting.
Oh yeah,
the number 1.
It all started because you were like, where are we going to start off on this? And you were like, let's start with the number 3.
No, 33. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I was thinking that maybe we'd start out with the number 1. and like, it'll all connect later on anyway. But so you were like, sure, let's start there. The first thing I noticed when I was getting into numerology was that how prevalent symbolism, like the number series, are in the symbolism of like architecture and just astronomy and everywhere. That we live in a world that can be, quantified in number forms on many occasions. And all the numbers are this like infinite series of possibilities that we can use to gain some understanding of the natural world around us. And so that's really the number 1 for me, is that concept. And then number 1 as like in the numerical series for me is significant as well, because we can talk about the all is one concept or things of that nature. Number 1, we've got monotheistic beliefs in our society that are more prevalent than many others, although that hasn't always been the case. But monotheism is and seems to be one of the oldest, like maybe even the first religious belief that human beings had. We were sun worshippers. And so maybe sun worship became the worship of an almighty one, a warm and loving God, or something crazy. Or just, and then that became heretical because, it needed to go through ecclesiastical review of the Church of Rome to find out if what you're saying are true or not. And so if you tried to propagate ideas about all is one or similar ideas, you could be labeled as heretical. And numerology comes in like all different colors and formats. And so that leads us on to, I guess, another of the number series. Other numbers that seem really prevalent are like 3, or 1, 2, 3 is really prevalent, and then 4, 5, 6. What was 5 again? Was that one like
chaos?
Okay, and then
or balance, depending on which philosophy you're going by.
And then I guess maybe we should talk about what, I don't know, 2 could be duality, 3 is like the Trinity, and then 4 had a really significant meaning as well.
I could go on my notes. I probably have it on my notes. Let me check.
Anyway, so 7. Once we get to 7, it's pretty much God, right?
Yeah.
G is the 7th letter in the alphabet, and who knows why 7 means God? I'm sure that there's a meaning out there somewhere. And then 8 is also really prevalent. It's also like the infinity symbol, I like to think about. Number 8 is representing infinity. 9, I don't know why this is such a prevalent stage in a lot of occult levels, like of initiates. It's been a long time since I've done research in that area.
There you go. Which number were we on? 4?
Wait. Yeah, it was 4.
Okay, so for here, I'm going to put it on the screen share so that people can see. But it's seen as the first solid number, spatial scheme, or order and manifestation, static, opposed to circular, dynamic, wholeness, totality, completion, solid, earth, order.
Yeah, you don't have to read it, but earth, I mean, it's really
so
cool.
there you go. Yeah, I have all of them pretty much. With
4 points, you have 4 points of the cross.
It's also
and then the 1
square
at the center. Yeah.
You know, and then the square is just a two-dimensional representation of the cube.
Mm-hmm.
Three-dimensional cube. Just looking at it a certain way.
Yeah, and that's the fourth dimension, or no, third dimension. And then
we have
like fourth and fifth dimension. So it's, there might exist whole other dimensions of reality within our own, and they're somehow intrinsically linked to the miracle system. Oh, by the way, this is Gematria 420 for those of you out there who are part of that club, and then also Gematria 101 for our more straight edge folks.
Right.
And then, all right, so we're continuing with the number series. We went from 1 to about 9, and then of course 11 is really prevalent. That's like a master number.
Yeah, we can get into the codes of those because 9 and 11 are
definitely to the.
So then I could show you those. But go ahead.
As we continue, because I'm trying to get to 33.
Okay, here's 9.
13 is a really prevalent one in occult symbolism. Any kind of secret societies, they use 13 a lot. That's why we find it in government and monetary system. Let's see, 14 is also very prevalent. And then we get into 21, I think is really an interesting number because it's a 777, basically. And then, of course, can't quite forget 23 and 32, and then finally we get to 33, which is like another very interesting.
It seems to root everywhere from 33. Like I use the numbers from 33 to find the other numbers. Essentially, when I'm doing this code stuff, that's what I noticed. But you haven't really done this much, so you don't really know what I'm talking about.
I know we have 33 bones in our hand.
That's the one I need to write down.
We've got 13 vertebrae in our back, and then plus the 1, our skull. That's 14. So, yeah.
So here's the notes I have on 33 so far with this breakdown. So you got your October is the 10th month of the year, right? But then you break down October, and it equals 33. And 33 obviously is going to be 6, but that's going to be the reason I have that green is because that represents the numerology breakdown, where this is like more of the code sum. Okay, so then you have 1933. In 1933 is prohibition of alcohol ended, and the Rolling Rock, some sort of bottle company, puts the 33 on it. So there's those little things, and then there's the world leader names. If you break them down, they all sum to 33.
Clinton.
Right.
Exactly. That's how I think we might be able to predict certain events in the future, maybe. Like, who has the most interesting gematria of these people's names who are running for president?
Oh, yeah.
And then you'd even place a bet on that if you wanted to.
I think I have something on Clinton.
Oh, and Kennedy links to 33.
Here. So Bill Clinton's biological father was murdered in May 17th, 1946. So that breaks down to 33, the day he was that his father died.
Yeah.
And Bill Clinton was born at Bill Blythe. That was his original name, right? He changed it, Clinton.
Oh, really?
So Clinton itself breaks down to 33.
Yeah.
But Blythe does not.
Blythe. Who cares with Blythe?
And then there's this little side thing about Ehud Barak, the Prime Minister of Israel. We always talk about Israel over and over. So, right?
Whatever that means.
While Clinton was president, right? And then Barak breaks down to 33.
Oh, it does?
Yeah. But not the same spelling as
that
Barack Obama.
Also means blessing.
Strangely, the Barack Obama has like a C or something there. so it changes the end result, if you will. So anyway, yeah, all these are 33s. If you just look through them, it's just I broke them down.
World leaders, the 33 combination. I wonder what degree Masonry Barack Obama was when he began running for president. I'm pretty sure you have to be like a certain degree something to even be considered for president.
That's a good point.
Do you have to be a 33rd degree Mason to be considered a presidential candidate?
I want to take this time to welcome everybody here in the chat and listening.
11 people.
So awesome to have you. And I put the link at the top or whatever if you want to jump in and like talk to us. You're welcome to. I'll try to invite people from time to time as I see you pop in. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going over your notes here, dude. So trade. So we're like a commerce-based civilization. We all use this thing called like logos.
Yeah.
Logos is a really interesting term that you see because it kind of like when you do the history of Gematria and you find that it's Hebrew practice. It's got linked and contributing elements from Pythagoras and other folks. So yeah, that's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, and what's weird about it is how it like relates to other things. That's what I've been noticing. Like not just the breakdown of the words that equal 33, but also sometimes the dates that correlate, and usually their birthdays or death days, things like that. Sometimes the in-betweens. Like I've been doing the Gematria stuff, but I've also been doing the Saturn matrix stuff too, and kind of correlating that, which is like mirroring and going into mathematics and craziness. And we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, dates are really interesting concepts because, like, today could be a day that lives in infamy, 4/21/2015, and so, who knows what the future holds,
right? And nobody really, but like we
can
can just like speculate mostly, and see what happens as the events like arise, and just try. What I've been noticing about these codes, though, it's almost like you can predict stuff, because like if you look at let's see what there's one thing that I noticed associated with, where is it? Hotel New World Disaster, right? The Hotel New World Disaster is March 15th, 1986, which was a 33 date, and 33 people died that day.
Is the 33rd day of the year?
No, that's not what I said.
No.
March 15th, 33 people died, okay. and this date, on that date, if you equal it out, equals 33.
Equals see.
So then you have notice that the March 15th is the Ides of March, and Ides of March is also Julius Caesar's death in 44 BC.
Yeah, so that kind of like links it to a more darker element of things, because Caesar proclaimed himself God, and I think a lot of tribulations have come to mankind on this belief that God, the one, the all, the encompassing,
God, the all, the encompassing. Talking about Julius Caesar.
Oh yeah, that man somehow is this creation, somehow is God, or will become that. When really it's sort of like a lost in translation message from the great beyond, where our spirits reside, at the great epoch at the end of time, and it's what truly frees us from all of this creation. But the message seems to get confused among people. It seems to like make them believe that they get to label who's evil, or that they're right and somehow better, and other people are wrong.
Right. And
so this belief.
No, wait, I just wanted to mention that this information comes from a breakdown of like Zachary Hubbard's work that he's already done. He does, and he continues to do all the time. And like, I just want to give him props. So this is all of his work. I break it down even further a little bit and kind of get into the numerology of it, and I try to piece them together, associated with links and such. So I just want to mention that. Go ahead.
No, whatever. Dude. What were you saying? I was going off on some tangent about how belief in gods and this belief that man can be a god, that he can live forever, and who. I just think to myself, who would want that? You can see why there would be a lot of controversy around such an idea. I mean, the Christians believe that Jesus was the Logos incarnate. He was the Word of God in flesh and body. But if you ask, someone who's Muslim or some other religion in the world, they'd say, "So, do you think that these Christians that they're right?" And the Muslims will look at you and they'll be like, "Well, they believe that man can be God. We don't believe that men can become gods, or something like that." And you might go, "Okay, well, I guess I can see that." They believe in prophets, which is interesting that they believe that Jesus was a prophet. It's just that
prophet also has to do with money because of the word prophet.
Yeah, they think that
it's spelled differently, but still interesting. Go ahead.
I'm talking about religion in general right now, but only as a kind of distraction from the Gematria aspect of things, because I don't really know a whole lot about it, but I do know that there are secret societies, and 33 is a really prevalent number. I think some of these secret societies actually believe that they are gods or should become gods, that man's destiny is to become God, or just simply to say that we become one with the stars. But what numerology, like I was saying, is just an expression for me of an all-encompassing fractal, where like everything equals one in the end, at this epoch at the end of time.
Yeah. So anyway, well, to get back to the numbers, associated with that number, right? You say God. God's the 26 number according to the Pythagoras. So let me present that real fast.
It's just interesting to think about how like warring concepts have gone on through time, each one claiming that their idea is like somehow sacrosanct or delivered to them by God or some logos. To you and me, it might seem absurd, but when you look throughout history, philosophers, scientists, spiritual leaders, shamans all spoke to a logos of some kind or another. They believed that a spirit contacted them and relayed information to them. Yeah, and the idea of Gematria kind of connects to that idea too, that these numbers come out as code somehow from God, and you have to be perceptive enough to see what's going on there, to see through.
Right.
See through to the end. Product or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because it's a matter of, like the faith in the subject matter, like whether or not they believe it's man that created them or they created man.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's the nurture versus nature kind of idea, or the idea of creating a story.
Yeah,
man versus machine, man versus man versus nature. It's a story. The heart of the story, essentially, like any story, right? I learned that in school.
Well, it's just like the idea that there's a master at the end. You know, this idea that we will never fully understand what it means to be an all-encompassing one, but we can, in a ridiculous sense, talk about it. But to some higher being, some alien species, or some evolved consciousness from another dimension might think that what we perceive as enlightenment would just pale in comparison to what they might know. And so here we are in this like material realm, in a world of seemingly infinite potentialities, and who's to say that these different dimensions do not exist?
No one.
Maybe messages come from.
You can't really say that because it's a matter of conjecture at that point. It's like you can't prove it or disprove it.
Yeah.
But it's nice to contemplate because it helps us like kind of grow in our imagination.
It helps us open our mind. So maybe like if you're thinking that if you can just understand Gematria, maybe you could communicate with God, you might not be on the right show right now.
Yeah, well, it's a matter of the numbers. For me, it's a matter of how the numbers so far have correlated to other things, like as if they're set up ahead of time. And that's why I think that you can use them as like to predict. Because if you start seeing patterns ahead of time, every time that something's mentioned that's represented by those codes, then you'll see it. You'll be able to. So that's why I wanted to bring it out, to show that this is a validity, has validity to it. It's like you can see it. Everyone out there, you can see how it says the number correlates with where it's located in the alphabet. And then you break down the number in order to get the secret code number, which would be the sum of the numerology breakdowns. So there's like the codes, regular code, and then the code name. And there's another one where you can take K and V and take them as their master numbers.
Master numbers.
As 11 and 22, and just leave them at that. And so therefore you'd have a different code system, and that's a third one. But that's even more secret than the other two. So I just wanted to show this, that the God breaks down to 26. 26 is the amount of whatever like letters in the alphabet, in the English alphabet, and it's also it equals Z. So, and it breaks down to 8 in numerology. For some reason, I found out Scrabble also equals 26, which is strange. And the Sandy Hook shooting is December 14th, allegedly, and that breaks down to 13 in the time scale, which again is we were talking about earlier. It kind of shows up all on the $1 bill and everything. It's very coded in that way. And then you got your 12 plus 14, which is just the date and the month, and that equals 26, which is the amount of people were killed allegedly. 20 students and 6 staffs were reported. So what do you think of that correlation?
I think it's really crazy because you can look at all kinds of events in history. There was an Almeric tribe, but not tribe. The Almeric was a philosophy in a way in the 13th century in France that was developed by this guy Almeric, who taught the belief that all is one and all things are part of God because all exist within God. So that didn't really go over well with the Roman Catholic Church because it didn't get ecclesiastical review or approval. And what they did was this guy and two other of his accomplices, I guess, were just professors, philosophers. And I think maybe what happened was they were labeled heretical. So they were convicted of heresy. And the numerical aspect of this uh, particular group of people, and you can check it online, was there was 14 groups, 14 people who proselytized this philosophy of his, and it sort of caught on. And then eventually, what happened was 3 people were sentenced to life imprisonment, and 9 people were sentenced to death. They were immolized. They were burned at the stake, essentially. In, at this time, and so this is sort of funny how like the number correlation of things, results in other numbers that we see periodically in other numbers.
Well, yeah, but the question becomes: is it set up ahead of time, or is it just kind of completely random?
I think you could,
or is there some sort of algorithm, like a pattern?
You could see it more as perhaps like that movie Pi.
Yeah, I reference that a lot.
Anyway,
but that's because it deals with pretty much what we're talking about.
Gematria. It's like a predictable
and codes.
Yeah, code of some kind that you can use, and some people believe that you can use it to talk to God. Others think that it's maybe a footprint of God, or a footprint of the hand of God.
Footprint.
It's a fingerprint of the hand of God, or something like that. But I don't know, it's just interesting.
Well, okay, we broke down 9. How about 11? 11, I got a lot of stuff here. For instance, you got November 11th. I mean, November is the 11th month, right? And if you take, I don't even know, there's 11, the 22. Oh, that's related to something else. So then you got the disaster on September 11th, which is the New Year's Day of the Coptic calendar. I don't think you even knew that, did you?
The Coptic calendar?
Yeah. So, September 11th is New Year's Day on the Coptic calendar.
Cool.
And from the Old World calendar.
Cool.
Or I mean, the Coptic calendar is from the Old World calendar. It occurred in New York, right? Side note: New York is 39. I already have that.
Lots of 39 code in New York. We've noticed due to other videos we have watched by this guy Zachary. What was the last name?
Hubbard.
Yeah,
well, I mean, I can go to the New York thing. I mean, and you can see it. We could kind of go bouncing back and forth.
9/11 links to the Kennedys, right?
Yeah.
So does that mean the same people are behind it? Can one theorize that?
I'm sure one can theorize that, sure. But I mean, it's a matter of putting it together accurately and presenting it with validity if somebody is going to actually take it, as something.
Or maybe it's just a product of this like infinite potential fractal of time and space that we're experiencing. So in a way, sure, it can be, you can call it the finger of God, but it's also like a very beautiful, in a way, pattern.
So look at all these connections to 39 associated with the New York. You got your New York, just the symbol N and Y, it equals 39 if you do the regular code. The breakdown, you get 39 from doing the whole word.
Yeah.
If you do the actual, there's a hidden, the R and K is a 9/11 hidden in it, right? Because 9 is the can break not 4. I mean, R can break down to 9, and K can be the master number of 11.
Yeah, I like your notes, man.
Thank you.
I was just picturing a webpage in my mind, and I was like, man, I wish I could just show you
this. Right. Well, eventually I'm going to have these set up like flowcharts, and then I'll present the flowchart in like a video or something in the future. So then you have your 39 signers, the Declaration of Independence. You got your 39 amendments.
Yep.
The Constitution was done on June 8th, 1789, and break that down is the 39. The dude James Madison did the Federalist Paper number 39, and he also proposed those 39 amendments. There's on the United Nations, there's 39 floors.
Yeah.
The empire. It's an empire state, and empire equals 30.
39 floors.
And then you have. Okay, so then go back to the 11 where we were. So it occurred in New York, and then New York is the 11th state, and New York has 11 letters. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
That's just.
That's a mistake.
Yeah, that's a mistake. How much does it does? Let's say it's 4 points. 7. I'm just going to take that one off because that's incorrect, people.
Just make it equal 7 instead of 11. Just put 11.
Nope. It's insignificant. That was only what I was writing was significant for 11. Yeah, so
11.
Took it out. Anyway, so new equals 55. 555, which is kind of a hidden thing that we go into. I like to document all the 555s because they're kind of hidden in things. It equals 15. 15 equals 6. So then you have New York equaling 33 with the 9/11 hiding in it, as if you do it with the code name style, right?
Yeah.
And that equals. So that's how you get. So York itself equals 33. Aside from the New York together equaling 39. So you have the kind of one representing the other, but hiding under the other. So then you have Joseph Patrick Kennedy, died August 12th, 1944, and his plane exploded during top secret World War mission named Project Anvil. So then you take out the date, and you get it just 12, 8 plus 1 plus 2, and you get 11, so there's your 11 there. You got your 1944 breaking down to 18, and you got your equaling out the whole thing, equaling 29. 2 plus 9 equals 11. So you kind of have a hidden 9/11 right here in the 1944 and the 8/12, if you break it down correctly. Then you got your project and anvil. Project equals 33, and anvil equals 22. That equals the 55 that we were talking about earlier. So then you got your.
Oh yeah, 55. You're telling it links to that other guy, the guy who shot the guy.
Who shot the guy, which is.
Who killed Kennedy. The other.
We went into that offline, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go into that then.
Sure.
So then, that was 22.
He's the 55
right?
guy.
Yeah, and so Lee Harvey Oswald is the shooter of the John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who was assassinated November 22nd, 1963. Now again, 11 and 22 equals 33, right? So 11 and 22.
Yeah.
You have your hiding thing right there, and that's right there. It also, strangely enough, 11/22 is the first day of the Sagittarius.
And that's what I am.
Dun dun dun.
Ah, shit. I'm fucked. Sorry, guys. I'm throwing you all off. God damn it.
So then you got, So then you got your Lee Harvey Oswald breaking down Lee, breaking down Harvey, and breaking down Oswald. You got 22, 79, and 74. This is the 22 that we're working on, so that's why I have it in brackets.
Thank you.
The 22 breaks down to 4. The reason I have 4 here is because if you take Lee and Harvey together and break them down to the numerology, you get 74. If you do it backwards. If you do it forwards, you get 47.
Cool.
74 and 47 are numbers that come up over and over again. So we can go into that later.
There are other cool number patterns too, right?
That's what I'm talking about. Well, there's a trinity. There's a couple of trinities. There's the trinity of this one, and then there's the trinity of the math.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the geometry,
which goes into Saturn.
Yeah. There's the geometry too, which is when hugely uses numerology. We derive a lot of our symbolism from.
Right. So then you got your
A plus B equals C. You know, Pythagorean theorem.
yeah, that's
As
a squared
above,
plus
so
b
below
squared equals 3 squared.
equals
I mean c squared,
Earth.
which is the triangle. It's the equilateral triangle.
As above, so below equals 1.
So then you have you were talking about with the 55. That goes with Jack Ruby, and Jack Ruby was the shooter of Lee Harvey Oswald. A couple days after he killed JFK. So I looked into Jack Ruby and found out that he actually has another name that he was born under as Jacob Leon Rubinstein. And so they just called him Jack Ruby in the newspapers, I guess, or something. And then, so you break down Jack Ruby and it equals, what, 8 and 21? And 8 and 21 equal 29. 22 and 9 is 11. So there's your 11. And then you got your born here and died here. That's 55 years. There's your 55. See, so that's how it would connect to that, what we were just talking about with the project. All right, so Anon has to take off. He's going to say his goodbye.
Yep. Homie Wisecraft is going to carry on with the Gematria 420 aspect. And I will now take my leave with the Gematria 101 aspect.
Awesome. Well, it's good to have you, man. You have a good day at work.
Well, you have a lot of cool notes that you can go through, and a lot of correlating numbers that are very interesting. And I'm sure you'll get someone to come on. We'll try to get someone cool to come on. If cool people will come on, that would be awesome.
Yeah, anybody wants to come on, just come on in. I've been trying to invite people, so I'll kick on the link, throw it in there.
If not, then maybe we'll
also throw it on the suggestions. But
maybe we'll just do part 2 of the Gematria
and continue it on Thursday
series. Yeah, just make it something new. Cool. And
well, we have to, because I don't think I'm going to be able to get into Matthew Nicholson's work too much in the time frame I have. So
later. Take care.
Later.
Peace out, people.
So anyway, back to where I was. If you guys have any questions, just let me know, and I'll periodically look at the chat and see if you guys want to know anything or have anything to add. So basically, go back to 11, right? And you go into where we were, Project Anvil, and that's where I was saying, see, if you add 33 plus 22, you get the 55. That's where I got the 55. So then you got Kennedy assassinated this date. I broke that down. You have John breaking it down to 47, so this 47 comes up over and over again. I'll show you what 47 is so you get an idea. Okay, so you got 47 floors on the World Trade Center 7. Remember, World Trade Center 7 wasn't hit and just went down by itself. So that's a big halo. You know what's going on there. You know, when I come across people that necessarily still go by the narrative that the news gave them long ago when this situation happened, and they were. And they would be like, you know, still taking it to, you know, the people hijacked and did the whole thing, you know, like the whole narrative, basically, telling me that. And what I would say is, well, how would you explain Building 7? And you know what they would say? What's Building 7? And that's the epitome of the situation. So when we actually deal with people, we should be like, hey, Building 7, explain it. Oh, and welcome, Rhinoceros. If you'd like to come in, I can invite you. I know you like to talk. So then, basically, you got Caesar Also equaling 47, you got President Kennedy with just a hidden 47 in it. You got Gulford, which is got a 47. Theodoros, Beast, and then Mark of the Beast equals 144, which is another thing. So we can go into that later. So back to 11. So the 47 has been explained. You understand how that relates to John. There's Fitzgerald, which is, 54. That's a 9. So that goes back to the 9 association. You got your Kennedy, which is 33. We've already kind of explained that. But that comes around over and over again because these Kennedy people are real deep involved in this codes. From their births to their deaths to the situations they deal with. It's weird. So then you got football, that's like, let's get into football. What is football? It's like a representation of the old ways, bringing them into today, using representation of teams, and each team is a representation of like an animal or something, like some sort of like mascot, right? So breaking down each one, you find that they're it gets into like Renaissance type, not Renaissance, like Julius Caesar type of age, like with the arenas, and basically football is like the new form of an arena type of setup. They have it to where you can do the entertainment, people get damaged or not, people competition, and then gambling. So then you got your 11 players on the field, and your football itself equals 29. 29 breaks down to 11 in numerology. And then you have the numerology breakdown of 11 equals 2. But remember, 11 can always be the master number. And then you got Flight 93, which had 11 crew. There's 93. 93 also has its own breakdown, so I'll show you that. There was the 93 World Trade Center bombing, and then Barry Goldwater died in 93. So you have those correlations. Flight itself equals 35, and 35 has its own thing. And we can go back into that. I don't exactly remember what I put there. And then I already showed you with the 93 because the breakdown of the 93. So again, we have with 35 and the 12, so you have 35 and the 12 equals 47, which again is all those 47 connections. Right? You guys with me so far? So and then we got your 22. We were kind of going into this a little bit while Anon was here. So I'll go a little bit deeper. You got your assassination we already kind of went into. I told you about the first day is Sagittarius. Lee Harvey Oswald broke down. And then you got Flight 175 that hit the World Trade Center towers. It hit the south one. The south tower was completed here. And this, if you break it down, equals 35. So there's your 35 connection to 175. And then Flight also equals 35. So you have a double time. 175 breaks down to 13, $1 bill thing. So then I broke down the Jack Ruby thing for you. Pretty much understand that. 49 is a whole other thing. What is 49? So you have the symbolics.com, first internet domain registered. So the first internet domain registered is, for some reason, symbolics.com, and that's 49. But there's some more 49 connections. I haven't put them all together. There's a lot of work to do, like to put these, like, I mean, you got to give it to Zach to putting all this stuff together for like us to find and put here. And I'll put some links down for Freedom to Find Truth or Freedom Fight Truth for Freedom. I can't remember the address, but I think I put it in the description. So check the description if you want to look deeper into these things, because he has them all coded, all marked. They don't correlate with each other, so you have to know the breakdowns, the sums, in order to kind of piece them together, connect the dots, if you will. And then you got, so the other name, right, Jacob Leon Rubenstein, is 1919 and 46. All of those are 10s, or 1s, if you will. If you break them down, they're all 1. So you add them up and they equal 48. 48 is a 12, 12 is a 3. Then you got Edward Kennedy, better known as Ted. Now, side note, Ted is like the name that was kind of jokingly given to the Ebola of Timothy Eric Duncan. So that's kind of interesting, connecting the dots connection, because we called him Ted as, because it's his initials. And, that person obviously wasn't a real person. Or if he was a real person, he was just portrayed as not a real person. And then you got your born on February 22nd. So again, you have your 22. The 22 connects to Washington also, strangely. And George Washington. We'll get into that later. So then you got your 21. 21's again 3. Your Joseph Patrick Kennedy is August 12th, 1944. 44 is a breakdown. We'll get into that later. And then your Project Anvil, we kind of explained, and the 55. So next one is 26. We went through that already. So then let's go ahead and go into the 33. Back up here, we already went through all this. Didn't get into this part. So from the sum of 33 matches the highest degree of Freemasonry. It means like if you add all the sums up of the lower degrees, it equals 33. You got Freemasonry itself, breaking it down, equaling 58. 58 equaling 13. Again, $1 bill, hiding in plain sight. You got your Masonry equaling 33. Just Masonry by itself, equaling 6. Trademark, the T and the M from trademark, which is what you normally see, equals 33. If I broke down trade and mark and I got 21 and 16, I took 21 and 16, I got 37. 37 equals 10. 10 is 1. So then you have your 1 connector. 1 essentially is like, when you come across these with numerology, it seems to be the perfect balance to figuring out the code. Once you find it, if it's sound, it seems to be like a 1. If it's like a little bit kind of creating a pattern, it seems to be like a 3 or a 6 or like a 9. So it's all about the primes generally. Then Delaware, established on December 7th, 1787. You break down that and you get 33. Delaware itself, break it down and you get 33, strangely. And Delaware is one of the original 13 colonies. So you have your New York Times. We went into how New York relates to the 39. September is obviously the 11, and then you got your 18 and 1851. So then breaking that down equals 33. You got your Newsweek, established February 17th, 1933, having your 33 there already. You got your, or hiding there essentially. You got your breakdown equaling 26. Again, that leads to the God number and or the 26 deaths in the alleged shooting at Sandy Hook. Newsweek breaks down to 33. And you got Hawaii establishing in August 21st, 1959, which breaks down to 35, connecting to those other 35 numbers. So then you got your Hawaii itself being a 33. And there's only like 3 states that are 33s, mind you. So it's not like strange, really, that these are 33 in the sense that the other ones aren't. I told you about the Hotel New World disaster, or I was talking to Anon about it. And it's strange that there's like 33 deaths on that day. The date equals 33. So you got your, big correlation there, and I just kind of stumbled upon that one. And then you got your Flight 93. We already kind of went into that a little bit. Equals 14. There was actually 44 people that died, and again 44 I don't know, did we go into that? Yeah, 44 has a lot of correlations, apparently. You have your Flight 93 with the 44 people we just explained. In 1781, the American Revolution War, or Revolutionary War, in the Battle of Guilford, and I broke down Guilford earlier, the courthouse near present day, so that was 39. The Greensboro, North Carolina, there's 1,900 British troops under Charles Cornwallis and defeated American forces numbering 4,400. So there's your 44 hiding there. You got your Julius Caesar assassinated in 44 BC. Barack Hussein Obama is the 44th president. Um, Kennedy died in 44, the junior in that accident that we explained earlier. The Kennedy family attended Harvard, Cambridge, Massachusetts. Break down Cambridge, it equals 44. Massachusetts actually is 33, so that goes back to where we were at. Hussein Obama ran on hope, and then hope equals 44, breaking it down, kill equals 44, with a hidden 9/11 inside. And you got your Martin Luther King Jr., also assassinated on 4/4. The assassination of Julius Caesar, we broke down, and equals 17. The Ides of March is also a thing that is known, and that is March 15th, which again goes back to that hotel disaster. So back to 33. Virginia Tech shooting had 33 deaths. There was 32 victims, and then the shooter shot himself, so that equaled 33. You got your date, and the date equals 20, which is a 2. Breakdown. See, then you have Trayvon Martin. Again, that's the T and the M, right? So we already broke down the T and the M. So you have your 33 hiding there, and then you got your February 26th, 2012, breaking down to 15, buried March 3rd, which is a 33 right there, and that equals 11, so you have your hidden 11, which breaks down to 2. So then you got your Trayvon breaking down to 34, which equals a 7, your Martin breaking down to 30 equals a 3, and you bring those together, and that equals 64. 64 breaks down to 1, or 10. Then you got your George Zimmerman, who was the shooter of Trayvon Martin, and there's a 33 is the G and the Z of George Zimmerman. So I broke down George and Zimmerman, and George is 39 and Zimmerman's 49, both of which are connected rings. So like 39 again with the New York stuff, and then the 49, but I don't remember what that was. That was that other thing we just went into. So then you break those down, bring those together, and you equal to 88, which is the B system connection of like the Saturn breakdown, which we'll have to go into probably in part 3 because I'm running out of time. But you got George Zimmerman together equaling 88, and Enter the Stars will be all over this. Probably has already been all over this because of its connection to 88. You got your Sandy Hook Elementary School. We kind of went into that a little bit, but deeper into it, you got your reported shots between 3 and 11. You multiply 3 times 11, that equals 33. So hiding in plain sight once again. Your breakdown of this equals 13. We kind of went into that, but look at this. Newtown actually equals 33 itself. NRA, which is what they kind of went off of as far as going against, because of the whole gun grab idea, is the 33. And the Ruger, which is the guns that were mentioned over and over again during the reports, were 33. So then you have Robbie Parker, who gave a speech on December 15, 2012. Robbie Parker is the father of one of the children allegedly murdered on that date. And you break that date down, it equals 14 and equals 5. And then Robbie itself equals 33. Parker itself equals 33. So if you put those together, equals 66. And again, 66 has other connections. 66 is the books in length of the Bible, numerology. It's the first sum of 13 colonies. So if you sum them all up, you get that. You get the first highway built. So it's a lot of firsts apparently. It was the 6680 that the Jewish revolt occurred in Rome. You got NFL established in 1966, and you also have the Church of Satan. You got 33 equaling 66 if you break it down. You got Robert F. Kennedy assassinated by Sirhan Sirhan. Sirhan is 33, 33, 33 plus 33 equals 66. And then it happened on June 6th, which is a 6 and a 6, it's just 66. So then you got your, 36 over here equaling a 9, you're having 9, and then strangely I found that woman equals 66, breaking it down to 12, the 12 tribes. You got your freedom equaling 66, and we already went through that. Back to 30. So then you have Michael Brown, which happened after that a couple years. The August 9th, 2014, breaking it down to 24. I have a person named Dorian Johnson, and Darren Wilson was the shooter of him. I haven't broken down the names of those yet, but I will soon, and we'll follow up probably. So there's going to be, so Dorian Johnson was the witness, and he had the same lawyer as Trayvon Martin. Remember, Trayvon Martin had the secret 33. Michael breaks down to 33. See? Darren Wilson was a policeman. Police breaks down to 33, and so does LAPD. Okay? All these things. Hey, what's going on, Chad? Do you want to come in and talk? I'll give you the link and send it to you. Welcome, welcome. So then, where was I? Oh, for sure. No problem. Well, great to have you in. To see ya. And then you got your Kennedy dynasty. You know, Kennedy's kind of a big one because it just kind of keeps on going. It's crazy. You got your compound located at 24,000 square meters in Cape Cod. And Hyannis Port 28 Merchant Avenue. You break down Merchant, it equals 33. The family first purchased in 1928. And that was just before the Great Depression, strangely. October 29th, 1929 was the Great Depression, and that is a 33. The known as Black Tuesday, and it had the stock market crash. The Kennedy family attended Harvard in Cambridge, Massachusetts. We broke down that earlier with Cambridge equaling 44. The house located at Barnstable, Massachusetts equaling 33. Barnstable equaling 31. And then Cape Cod equaling 47. We went into the 47 connection earlier. And then you got Cape Cod in the other way, the code name way, breaking them down numerologically, adding them up, equaling 11. If you break down the 29. So you got your Patrick Kennedy died on November 22nd, again with the 22nd. That goes with the George Washington as well. And then you got your 11 and 22, and again 11 plus 22 equals 33, so you have your hidden stuff right there. You got your 28 equaling the whole thing, this whole date. Patrick itself equals 33, Kennedy itself equals 33, so you know you put them together, it equals 66. Doing it the other way, it equals 42. 42 is another number that we haven't really gone into, so here's what 42 connects to. You got your Kennedy, with the K being master number 11, and then you got your Patrick, and then you got your Ferguson. So strangely, Ferguson equals 42, gun equals 42, sin equals 42, and war. and back to 33. So then you have Joseph Kennedy Jr. died on August 12, 1944, again with the 44 throwing up. We kind of explained this with the Project Anvil and how project equals 33. Anvil equals 22. Put them together, that equals the 55 that we talked about earlier. So John Fitzgerald Kennedy, assassinated November 22nd. Again, a 22nd. The John equals 47. The Fitzgerald equals 54, or 9 if you break it down. And he was the last president to die in office. Lee Harvey Oswald, we kind of went into already. You got your Robert Francis Kennedy, assassinated on June 6, 1968. We kind of went over that a little bit, but Robert itself equals 33. Francis equals the 34, which breaks down to 7. Sirhan, we kind of went into that with the 66, and Sirhan itself equals 33. You got your evening. He defeated Eugene McCarthy in the California presidency, or presidential primary, and McCarthy equals 37, and Eugene equals 30. Put them together equals 40. You got your David Anthony Kennedy, died on April 25th, 1984. Got your hidden 42 there, equals 33. He died of cocaine and Demerol overdose allegedly, and the word David equals 22. So again, with the 22 showing up. Anthony itself, 34, which is a 7. So you put David and Anthony together and you have your hidden 47. You see that? So then you got your Michael Lemoyne Kennedy, died on December 31st, 1997. And that's got a hidden 11 in it, obviously. So then that equals 33, the date. Again, it was a skiing accident, allegedly. And he has the Michael, so that equals 33. Lemoyne equals 35. We went into 35 earlier. And Michael Kennedy together equals 66, which is what we went into with assassinations. So, George W. Bush, born on July 6, 1946, and you break that down, it's a 33. Bill Clinton, biological father, was murdered May 17, 1946, allegedly, murdered. And the date equals the 33, obviously. You got your Bill Clinton, born as Bill Blythe, so he changed his name to Clinton in order to have the 33 name. Ehud Barak, the Prime Minister of Israel, we kind of went into this a little bit, is the 33 as far as the Barak part. President, remember, is 47. So you got Robin Williams, allegedly killed himself, right, on August 11th, 2014, and that date equals 33. Percy Shaw, murdered September 1st, 1976, and he was founded the Reflecting Road Studs Limited to making cat's eyes, and invented them in 1933, obviously, at the bottom of the Great Depression. Those are those things that reflect and separate road lines that you see in the roads. So that date that he was murdered was also a 33. You have these coded words, name. Okay, name equals 33, code name equals 33, cursed, and it's only if you do it these certain ways. You have to have the code name way and then the name way. There's 2 ways. And if you keep the K and the V, remember it's 11 and 22. So you have all these different ways to correlate to each other. And again, I don't know if this is just like coincidental, if it's a pattern, if it's fractal, if it's some sort of algorithm in the system, if it's connected to the matrix. So York is 33 if you do the K as 11. And again, here's a hidden 911 right there. You got Jinn equal 33. Jinn is like obviously a genie. So that's interesting. You got Fouad, which was like a story, an ancient story associated with like one of the gods, I believe. And you got Miller. Miller equals 33. I found that out because I have a coworker that has the name Miller, and broke that down. So then but it's also like what? Beer, right? So then you have the beer connection with that, and also Keystone. That's like Keystone Light or whatever Keystone beer. That's also a 33. You got Sing Sing Tayo, which equals a 33. I don't remember what that is. I think it's a drink. And then you got coded dates. The year 33, or the 33 years before 9/11 was 1968, and I told you about 1968 a little bit. So 1968 is breaks down to 24, which is a 6. You got your 9/11 made national emergency code that year. The World Trade Center construction began, and George Washington Bush graduated the Skull and Bones in that year. Martin Luther King also was assassinated, and Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated. So back to 33. And then you have your biblical codes. Jesus, crucified on the cross at the age of 33. Now Jesus is a 74. I mean a 47. No, 74. Wrong one. Jesus is a 74. So you have 74, all these connections with this. Joshua is the, what do you call it? Jesus is the English version of Joshua. So Joshua also breaks down to 74, strangely. Cross is a 74. Lucifer is a 74. The number 144, which we kind of talked about earlier, is referenced in 7-4. The mark. Oh yeah, mark of the beast is 144. So that equals 7-4, strangely. You have mark equaling 43 of 21. The 33. Yeah, strange the is a 33. Beast 47. Yeah, beast is the opposite of 74, right? Mirror of 74. And then mark of the beast equals 144. So you can see all these all correlate. Occult equals 74, which is what this shows essentially started about in the first part. So we're just reprising. This is the code system of the occult, it seems. You got your 74th day of the year is March 15th, strangely. So, and we went into March 15th being the Ides of March, Julius Caesar's death, and also that time, what do you call it, that thing that happened with the New World Hotel disaster. Julius Caesar, 44, Barack Obama, 44th president, little connection there to Lupercalia. You got your JFK assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee's a 22, Harvey's 16 or 79, depending on which one you're working with here. Oswald's a 74. So Oswald, along with being the other one, it's also this one. So then you got your in 17. Oh no, we went into this one already, but this was about the 4400 in the Revolutionary War. So back here, covered that. Go into the next one. Yeah, we kind of covered those. Right, John F. Kennedy was the 35th president, so that connects to the 35. He was a Catholic president. President, remember, is 47. Catholic is a 35. So you have a correlation there. You have Michael Lamone Kennedy dying of a ski accident, and Lemoyne is a 35. And then the date that happened was a 33. 39, we kind of went into a little bit with the New York stuff. James Madison, the Federalist Papers, the 39 Amendments, 39 signers, New York equaling 39 this way, and then NY equaling 39 this way. Empire State, Empire equals 39, and then you have the hidden 39 in Robert and Francis Kennedy's, which is the Francis, the C and the I. CI. That's funny. 42, we kind of went into already. 44, yeah, I think we went into 47, yep. 49, yep. 66, Yep. 68. Yep. 74. Yep. 77. Okay, so 77 was there was the flight 77, obviously, 9/11, and that hit like uh, did that hit? Oh yeah, that hit the Pentagon, and the Pentagon, strangely, and the Pentagon is 77 feet tall. So what craziness is that? Where it hit the Pentagon, and it's flight 77, and it's 77 feet tall. It's a little weird. It's on the 77th meridian, so you have all those correlations there. So any of you guys like disagree or anything, you're welcome to like throw in your 2 cents and let me know. Um, I feel that this can't be refuted essentially because it's essentially math and breakdowns. Like you can present it over and over again. So whatever. If it can be refuted, then I'd like it to be presented in a way so I can find that refutation. You got Flight 93, the 93 World Trade Center bombings, and then Barry Goldwater. I already went into that. 110 is a thing associated with president. It can mean 110, and then you got 110 stories that fell. So then 110 stories, I believe that was the North Tower. 144 we kind of went into a little bit. Sagittarius equals 144, and then there's the reference in 7:4 of Revelation. 555, that's new, can be 555 in the letters. You got Iraq War, began in March 20, 2003, and that's 555 days after 9/11. The Pentagon's five-sided with 5 floors and 5 acres, so that could be read 555. You got your Washington Monument, 555 feet tall and 550 feet and 5 inches tall. And again, that's only above. There's another 100 feet below, so it's really 666 feet. You got your Robert F. Kennedy, who was assassinated evening, defeated the McCarthy, and then that's where you get your 33 hidden in your McCarthy because you're 3 and 3 right here. Then your 666, obviously, is Joseph Kennedy in East Suffolk. Suffolk has a hidden 666 in it with the FFO. You got your RFK assassinated June 6th, which is the 6-6, and in 1968. So I highlighted those to represent that, the 6-6 and the 6 right there. You also have your 666 here, if you break it down that way. And then you got the 9/11 connection with the York, your World Trade Center, September 11th, 11, and then Flight 11. So that brings us to 3119. The 93 World Trade Center bombing came 3119 days before 9/11, and the numerology of that reversal is 31. Is that date is that day. So if you reverse it. So, and the phrase "I am" in letters comes out of that. If you actually break it down into numbers, into letters, and the other way around, because this could be 4 or 13, and 13 is the M, 1 is A, and 9 is I. So definitely you can see how that can correlate. Now I wanted to go into the other one, the 9/11 ritual of Matthew, Matthew Nicholson's work. And this gets really trippy because it associates with like math, and you had to break it down with the math. So I kind of went through each one. First of all, you got your demolition clearing for World Trade Center is March 21st, 1966. If you take, hold on a second. I have to take a call. Hello? Okay, so anyway, I'm back. The demolition, so it from 3/10/1957 to 3/21/1966, there's actually 3,298 days. And then another way you can read that is 9 years, 11 days. So you got your 9/11 hiding in there. You got your, if you break down the 328 or 3298 and you actually separate it into multiplying the 32 by the 98, you get 3136. You take the 3136 and you mirror it into 6313 and you get 9449. The prime factorization for 9449 is 11 times 859. That means you have to times that because it's a prime number. So then you take the number, these numbers, you mirror this one. Well, actually, you're mirroring that one too, but it's the same, so it doesn't really matter. And then you get 969. Now, 969 connects to this, is like the speed of Saturn. It's like 9.69. So that's how all these things seem to correlate back and forth with the Saturn connection. So you got your ceremony for the World Trade Center on August 5th, 1966, which is 8/5/1966, and you take that date to the date of 9/11 and you get 12/8/21 days. Now, strangely, this is one of those days it's 1/2/8/21, so it's already mirrored. You got 35 years, 1 month, 6 days. And when you take 35, 1, and 6 together right here, you take this and you add it to itself, multiply it by each number, and you get 3606. 3606 mirrored with this formula, and you get 9669. Again, similar to this one here, just one off, taking one of those out. But also, side note, you got a hidden 66 in there. So take that 12/8/21 and you have 50, and that is actually the 1520 or 1528th prime number. Break that down like that, and you get 420, strangely. And 420 breaks down to 444. The orbit of Saturn is 10,759 days. And you break that down with this number, which is, where did that number come from? 10,759. Where's that number? There was a number, I don't know where that number is, I'll find it though. It's probably further down. Anyway, it equals 2062, and then that breaks down to 8888. So again, I figure that Enter the Stars would be into that information. You got the ribbons cutting ceremony for the North and South Towers. At 4/4/1973. So again, you got your hidden 44 right there. I don't correlate this with the other one because they're kind of separate, but I see them. I see the correlations there. And then so that to that is 9560 days, breaking it down into 1365 weeks. 1365 equals that 6996, which is a mirror of this one here, 9669. Prime factorization of 9560 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 239. And then you take the prime counterparts of those and you get 1 times 1 times 1 times 3 times 52 equaling 156. And 911 is the 156th prime number. So you have your connection to 911 with the ceremony and the primes. For some reason, the primes are connected. So then you have the events. There's the bomb that detonated in February 26, 1993, which we referenced earlier as 2/6/1993 to 9/11/2001 is 3119 days. Again, that's that number that I showed you earlier, and that's 444th prime number, which again is the 444. Because we keep coming across these numbers over and over again, they pop up. 444, the 6996, and the 9669, and 969. So, original bid winner is 2/15/2001, Vornado Reality Corporation, before the other guy got it. And side note, the North Tower garage, there were 6 dead, and 1042 injured. You break down the 1042, it equals that 420, which is that 444. 444 is prime, and you see the correlation there. You got your original bid winner at 215 here, and then 426, the 724. These are correlating the dates. 426 is right here. No, it's 226. What date are we doing? I kind of got lost. Hold on. 7, 5, 8, 5, 4. Oh, here it is. Okay, this is 724 right here. This deal is closed. That's what that one is. The 426 is right here. That's the Silverstein Properties 1. And the date that the original bidder, and that equals 1365. It said 1365 mirrored equals 6996. So then you got your Silverstein Properties, and that equals, and that's actually the 116th day of the year. 116, flip it, is 9/11. If you flip it mirror, you got your 426 to 9/11 is 138 days. 138 breaks down into 969. And then the deal closed on 7/24/2001. Strangely, that's my birthday, was 7/24, so I thought that was weird. The 4/26/2001 to 7/24 is 89 days. You take the 4/26 to the 2001 plus the 89, and you get 2516. Break that down, multiplying by the halves, and you get the 400, and that equals 404. And again, there's 404 connects to other things out there. Like, we'll come back to that. Like, I think Revelations is like something that 404 connects to. Let me see. I'll just go to it real quick. Oh, you have the attacks. 254th day of the year. If you take 9 squared times 11 plus 11 squared, it equals 202. And then you take your, and 202 is also the Washington, D.C. area code. Take 202, mirror itself, and you get 404. So that's how that correlation works. You got your days in between from 3/21 to 7/24. And 3/21, where is that? I don't remember what 3/21 is. 3/21, 3/21. I think that's a death of somebody. Oh, 1966. Yeah, there's probably a death of somebody. Or no, that's the beginning of this, I believe. Yeah, it's like, there it is, 3/21. So the demolition clearing date, basically, is the 3/21 to 7/24, which is the date closed, is 12 909 days, 35, 4, and 3. Break it down, equals 696. Break it down further with the prime factorization, and you get 347. 347 is the 69th prime number, and 69 is at the top of the arch in the found in the top of the arch in the Masonic Lodge. So you got attacks of September 11, 2001, which is what we just explained. The flight plane numbers: Flight 11 hit the North Trade Center Tower, or North World Trade Center Tower, and the North Tower was completed on December 23rd, 1970. Break that down to the amount here, putting it right here. And that number is the 200th prime number. Sum of divisors of that is 124. Break that down, equals 200 plus 124, because you take the 200 right here, and you get 1424. 1424, break it down that other way with the multiplying, you get 336, and then 336 mirrored equals the 969. The crash time was 8:46 a.m. and 92 died. There were 76 passengers, 5 hijackers, and 11 crew. The 11 on the number 11, the prime factorization is 1 times 11. The sum of divisors is 12, and the 11th prime number is 31. The mirror of the sum is 22. So again, there's the 22 showing up. You got your flight 175, which we kind of went into earlier with the other code. And that one hit the South Trade Center Tower, and that one was completed in July 19th, 1971. From the days to the end result, there was 12 days, and the prime factorization leads to this number, which breaks down to 404. Again, with that number 404 showing up. And 404 is like, I think, the number of verses in Revelations. 9/11 plus 2001 minus 7/19, 1990 or 71 equals 222. Breaking down 222 mirrored is 444. So then you have, after the events on 9/11, the United Air changed the flight number to 1525 out of the respects to the victims. It broke down to 1525 minus the 175 and got 1350. 1350 equals 1365, and that brings you to your 6996 number. The crash time was 9:03, and 65 died, 51 passengers, 5 hijackers, 9 crew. Break down 175, and you get your prime factorization for 5 times 5 times 7. Sum divisors is 248, and then you got your 1039 showing up with the prime number. It's the 175th prime number. Mirror sum is 746, and then 186. If you add both plane numbers that hit together, you get 186. The country was founded on July 4th, 1776. Break that down to the day of the year, and it's the 186th day. So you have your connection there. Break down 186 with the formula, and you get 234. Breaks down to 666. Mark of the beast. You got your 12,248, which is the sum of divisors of each plane, 12 and 248, and you get 260, and you take 260 plus itself, and you get 322. 322 is connected to the Skull and Bones fraternity. It's like their symbol that they leave everywhere or something. They have it on the fraternity. You can see it under, if you look up Skull and Bones, you'll see it. It'll just show up. You got Flight 77 hit the west wall of the Pentagon, and allegedly 125 people died. 77 breakdown. The crash time was 9:37, and 64 died. There was, and this is connected to the plane, there was 53 passengers, 5 hijackers, and 6 crew. The prime factorizations 7 times 11, and there's 96. Sum of divisors 398 or 89 is the 77th prime number. Mirror sum is 154. Then we have Flight 93, which crashed near a field in the Diamond T mine in Pennsylvania. 93 breaks down. There was 44 died, allegedly. So again, we have the 44. There was 33 passengers. There's your 33, and then 4 and 7 with the 4 hijackers and 7 crew. So you're 47 hiding right there. Your crash time is 10:03, and then prime factorization is 331. You got your sum of divisors is 128, and it's the 93rd prime number is 487. Mirror sum is 132. The passenger death total of all planes, if you add them all up, equals 213. You take 213 and realize that it's minus it by the 356, and you get 143. 356 is all of the mirrored, the prime, the numbers. The numbers added to each other. 356. The plane numbers. So, crew death of total planes is 33, and that's not counting the hijackers or the crew. No, that's the crew. So that's not counting the hijackers or the passengers. You got your 213 plus 33 equals 246, and then you got your 888 hidden there. Plane numbers equal 356, which is what we determine right here. You got your flight 370, which is that plane that disappeared, the only plane that disappeared reported nationally, and it was Malaysian Airlines. The flight plan was 4,333 kilometers, and 400, and it was the 404th Boeing 777 produced. Revelation has 404 verses and 22 chapters, so you got your 22 showing up with your 404. That's what we were talking about earlier. So you take 404 times 22, and you get your 888 or 88, double 88s. So then you got your plane numbers plus your mirror sum. Take the plane numbers here and your mirror sum, you get 5,555, which is another one of those numbers that show up again and again. Crash times, 911, minus 911, these are the crash times, minus the 911 equals 2001, equals 777. So there's your 777 connection to the Boeing. And then you got your crash times, plane numbers, minus plane numbers. So here's the crash times, here's minus plane numbers. 333 plus 33 equals 66. And you got your 66 hidden in there, obviously. Double time. You got your crash times at 5/1/2011. And break that down with the crash times, minus it, 1627, mirror that, 8888. Sum of divisors, plus the plane numbers. Here's sum of divisors, here's the plane numbers, here's what they equal, and here's the answer, 840, 048, 888. Prime numbers, minus the plane numbers. Prime numbers, plane numbers, equaled, this is the answer. 1590, break it down with the other formula, 1635, break it down with the mirror, 6996. So strangely, September 13th, 1752 was actually stricken from the date because of some issue with the calendar. And 1913-52 breaks down, if you add them like this, you add the mirror of itself, you get 5555. add 55 days to the 9/11 event, and you get November 26, 2016. Take November 26, 2016 of days past the date of the date that supposedly the world was going to end, 12/21/2012, or say the Mayan calendar end date, and you get 1436. 1436 is the total words in the Bill of Rights. George Washington, which is what we were talking about earlier. I kept talking about it. I didn't even put that in, but basically he was born 2/22, 1732. So you have your 2/22, or 22 again showing up. He died December 14th. December 14th was the same day of the Sandy Hook hoax, or whatever you call that event. You got and that was 1779. So 2/22 plus 12/14 equals 1436, the connection to the words in the Bill of Rights, and the days past the day of supposed end date of the calendar of Mayans. There's 435 members in the House of Representatives. If you take 435 plus 534, which is the reversal, you get 969. You take 546 members in the federal government. 535 sit on the legislative branch. 9 out of the remaining 11 sit on the Supreme Court. So you have your hidden 9/11 in there. You got your 2977, which is the amount that was supposedly of deaths occurred in 9/11, total death. 443, which is what we went into with the signers, and 546, which is the members of the federal government. You got 2288. 2288 with that formula equals 2544. 2544 mirrored equals 6996. Then you got George Bush Jr. George Bush, born on July 6, 1946. If you take that date, it's the 887th day of the year. 187 is the homicide code in the police, or in the police what do you call it? Scanner code. He took office in January 20th, 2001. Take that date to the date of 9/11. It's 234 days. Another way to read that is 33 weeks. So you have your 33. Take 120 plus 2001 plus 33, and you get 2154. Take 2154 plus it's self-mirrored, and you get to 666. Highest degree of Freemasonry is 33, so that's where you have the 33 there. You got your 234 plus your 432. If you mirror it, the 234 days, you get 666, mark of the beast. Osama bin Laden, born March 10th, 1957. 3/10/1957, 7/6/1946, 2/3/10/1957 is 3,900 days. And again, what is the 7/6? 7/6 is the day, I gotta show you that, the most wanted. Okay, 7/6 is the day that he went on the most wanted list. So we'll come back to that. But that's what that's from. So that plus that, which is his birthday. So his birthday to the day he went on the wanted list is 3,900 days, or 557 weeks. Take 557 with the formula, you get 732, and then that equals 969, of course. Another way to read that is 10 years, 8 months, and 4 days. You take 10, 8, and 4, and you get 10 times 84 equals 840. 840 we broke down earlier is 888. 69th day out of the year is also this date. 69 plus the 187, if you take the 187 from up there, you get your 256. 256 is one bite, as in the bite of an apple, the big apple, or Apple Computer, or New York City. So you got your 310 plus 76 or minus 76 equals 234. Again, the 666 shows up. You got your 310, the planes, and you get 666, which is the mark of the beast in Revelations. He was supposedly a mastermind in 9/11, so he went on the most wanted list. We already went into that. And then basically that's 689 days. And 689 comes up again. That's why it's marked there. So you got your most wanted date plus the 9/11. So here's your most wanted date, here's 9/11, and then it equals the amount of victims of 9/11. Take the amount of victims, you get 233 in that formulation. Actually, this should be moved over. And then you got 233, 33, 22. Again, you got your hidden 33s there. 55, 55, 55, 55 breaks down into this code. So that's why the 55, 55 up above kept being mentioned. You got your 6180. 6180 equals the mirror 816, and then that's 6996. The speed of Saturn is 6.69 kilometers a second. Again, break that down, you get that number again. So there's a correlation of 696 to 6996 because of the math of if you add them and do this formula. You got your 277 plus the planes equals 333, 333, 666, 1189 is the amount of chapters in the Bible. You got the deaths here with the plane numbers here, and the chapters in the Bible. Add them up, you get 4522, 4522 with the formula, 4602, 4602 with the mirror, 6666. 27 plus 1189 plus 254 equals 4420, because we had the 254 up there, if you were wondering. So 4420, you take out the 0, you get 4452. 4452 mirrored equals 6996. Jesus Christ's death, supposedly or allegedly, was 4333, and there you have your 4333, like we were seeing earlier up above, and that's also can relate to Psalm 33, which is about judgments, casting down, casting off, mourning, oppression, why is this happening to me, kind of thing. So if you were wondering, I found that interesting. And then you have most wanted date plus privatized date equals 4493. 4493 times itself equals 4092, and then that equals the 6996. If you take Independence Day and you take the signing of the Constitution, the signing of the Independence Day to the signing of the Constitution equals 492 days. There's your 492 connection. See? Then you got your Bin Laden's birth date plus the wanted list date. Then you get 433. Again, 433 up here. Jesus Christ's death, connection. He was killed allegedly on May 1st, 2011. You break that down. 2011, you got your 120. It's actually your 121st day of the year. 69 plus 254 plus 121 equals the 444, and that equals the 888. The 831st day of the year of Obama was the day that the Obama was in office. So 831 is the cost of stimulus, the $831 billion, and 831 equals 969. Also, side note, Methuselah in the Bible was 969 years old, and he was the oldest in the Bible. If you take the date 6/7/1999 to the 5/1/11, 2011, and you get 4346, you could take those as Psalms and then be 46, because we already did the 43 above. Resurrection represents the 46 in a sense because it happened 3 days after. You got your 4346 minus 2977, the deaths. You get 1369, 13 and 69, two numbers that are very Masonic. The 13, obviously, with the $1 bill stuff we were talking about earlier, and the 69 at the Masonic Arch, also Cancer. So you got your 89 or 897, 897 is the total steps of Washington Monument. There's your connection to Washington. And 13 tribes of Israel, if you want to go that route. 69 is the top of the Masonic Arch, and 6 times 9 plus 69 equals 123, equaling 444. And then we have a Barack Obama, born August 4th. Sorry, I was being bugged. Okay, so anyway, August 4th, 1961, 8/4, 1961, 82, or 222, that's the Washington, and also those other people. 8/4 equals 138. The 8/4 plus the 51 equals 135, so you have your correlation there. And then you have from 3/10, 1957 to 8/4, 1961 equals 222. If you take those dates and add them and subtract them here, add these and subtract those, you get the 222, which again is the date of George Washington birth. So then that's 444, 3/10, 1957, 2977, and you get 5244. Again, that correlates to a number we already broke down earlier. 1608, 80, 61 equals the 6996, or I'm sorry, they were 9669, the mirror of 6996. And then that's also read as 4 years, 4 months, and 25 days, breaking down to this. Strangely, that is also Obama's last 4 digits, and it's the mirror of this number. See, mirror. So then you add those up and you get your 9669. And then you have the Homeland Security Act that was passed after 9/11, November 25th, 2002, from the date, the Osama bin Laden's date, to the 11/25/2002. You have 1267 days, 3 years, 5 months, and 18 days. Add those up together. Put them together and then put them use that formula, and you get 63 or 630. 630 mirrored equals to 666, mark of the beast. Take the 1267, mirror it, and you get the 888. And then you got room for 237, which is connected to the Shining movie, a Kubrick connection. If you take the 237 and to the other direction, you get this 969, which is the connection to the Saturn. So that's about all I have for today. Thank you all for being here, and it was great to have you. I'm glad that everybody showed up and was able to come in and get this information. We're going to go deeper into it on Thursday, and hopefully I can actually get some people that work on this stuff, and we can bounce back and forth and have some discussions on it. Anyway, this is Wisecraft signing off. Chat, great to have you guys. It looks like there's only a couple people in there left, and we'll see you next time. And remember, do your research.